You're not gonna grow and expand your reach. It's just gonna be one sale at a time, and every single month you're gonna be at the first of the month back to the grind.
I was at SpongeBob, and with all the awards behind me, basically, they would always think I didn't know what I was talking about. And it was so fun to walk them inside and sit them at my desk and walk away. I'd do it every time, and then when I'd come back and I'd sit down, the total demeanor would change. They'd go, "Wow, you really do know what you're talking about, don't you?"
Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. I'm your host, Sean B. Bradley. Actually, I'm lying. I sound a lot different than Sean, and our hosts here are a lot different than Sean and L.A. Williams. All jokes aside, my name is Tianna Mick, also known as T Got Your Keys, and today we don't have one, we have two incredible mother-daughter duos who are actually transforming the auto industry today. So let me introduce to you my mother, Karen Bradley, also CEO of Dealer Synergy. Karen, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm really honored to be a part of this discussion, being able to speak with another mother-daughter duo and hear about their success.
Absolutely. And you all know me, Tianna Mick. Together, my mom and I, Karen Bradley, we're a powerhouse team in automotive, training, branding, and sales strategy. But we're not here alone, as I said. Here we have the amazing Tiffany Kruzer, a record-breaking saleswoman here at Ken Ganley Honda, and also her amazing daughter, Liana Nikel, who is a rising star in Medina Buick GMC Cadillac. So in this episode, we're going to be exploring all about how we built a career for ourselves in the car business. And while we're rising, we're also mentoring, especially being women in this industry and the next generation of leaders. So from breaking gender barriers to blending old school relationships with modern marketing tactics, this conversation is all about legacy, leadership, and the unique bond that comes with when family and business interact. So I'm really excited to talk to all of you lovely ladies right after this break.
If you're looking for the absolute best automotive sales training from the #1 millionaire car salesman in the world, Cody Carter, who sold 1,408 units in 2023 and made $1.2 million in personal income, make sure you sign up for Cody's 24/7 video on-demand training, tracking, and testing certification program, Sell Like Cody. That's right, Sell Like Cody is on Bradley On Demand. Cody covers absolutely everything in his successful selling process. If you want to learn how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably, enroll now at bradleyondemand.com or contact Dealer Synergy today.
Thank you for calling Doing It Wrong Motors. How can I help you?
I was looking at the tan 2023 GMC Terrain. You guys still have that?
Oh, sorry. That vehicle's been sold.
Could this be happening at your dealership? Get the Dealer Synergy team to handle calls the right way. We'll gather all the information, drop it in the CRM, set a solid appointment with notes, so all you have to do is sell. Do yourself a favor and go to dealersynergy.com for a free demo.
And no more of this burning through phone-ups nonsense.
I absolutely love everything that was just said, right? But back to the show. So, hey Tiffany, hey Liana, how are you guys today?
Hi, how are you?
So let's start at the beginning, right? I mean, for both of us, mother-daughter duo pairs, let's start with you, Tiffany, right? What was the spark that and we had a sneak peek, right? This isn't your first time on the show, but just remind us, what was that spark that really brought you into the automotive world? And then I want to hear from Liana.
Honestly, I just at first was in a career when I was doing telemarketing actually for sales just for a little part of my life. And when I had that opportunity to do it, I noticed I really had a drive to talk to people and I was good at it. I was good at setting appointments and I saw that was something that I was pretty good at. So once I was able to actually have an opportunity to get into the car business, I had to sell myself at being only 20 years old because back then, and 20 years old and being a female, no one wanted to let you sell cars. I was lucky because I married into a family who had a dealership group He gave me the opportunity to start hourly because he even knew the other employees would be already mad because I have the last name, but also, I was young and they built their way up and it took them some years back then. So I first got a lot of scrutiny on the floor from because there was only a total of 3 salespeople at the BMW store. I didn't have nice clothes, nothing, but the drive of getting the opportunity made me want to show everyone that I could do better than everyone that was there. So that was pretty much, anytime someone tells me I can't do something, it makes me want to try even harder.
Right. It like fuels you.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yes,
oh, I
it
can't.
does. It
Now I'm
fuels
gonna.
me like no other. So
Yes, it's the best motivation
Yeah.
for sure.
I completely agree. And Leanna, what was the spark that really brought you? I mean, we know both of our moms have kind of led us down this path, whether we liked it or not, right? But what was the spark for you that really it clicked? You were like, wait, I could actually do this.
Prior to car sales, I was actually a preschool teacher, and I was working crazy hours, almost as much as a salesperson, just because of my drive and motivation. But I looked at my W-2 for the year and saw how little I had made for as much effort that I had put in. And while I was at work, actually, I took a step out and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I have to do something different. I need to try this. I see you doing phenomenal things and making, a great living for yourself and all these awesome relationships, and I have to be a part of it.
And it's
Oh, my
crazy to me,
goodness.
the school systems, right? The amount
Yeah.
of money that these teachers get paid when they're spending all day with our children, and they are the influence behind their success and their future of learning. So just shout out to all the teachers out there that don't get the pay that they deserve.
yeah.
No, absolutely. And it's kind of funny because our story kind of sounds similar, right? I mean, I was literally like I always say I felt like SpongeBob because I was like a fry cook, like in the back making the burgers, like dropping the fries down, like trying to make a living. And, same thing. I called my mom and my dad, and I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Like, I feel overworked, burnt out. I just can't. Like, I'd rather, same thing with you, right? With not really wanting to put in the hours to get in, the outcome that you really want to get, I should say, right? So now I want to go to you, Mom, right? I want to ask you, right? So
Yeah, so
what was the spark?
actually, yeah, so similar to Tiffany, right? I had an in already. So when Sean and I started dating, he had brought me to the office. I've always had like a very entrepreneurial like mindset, very determined, very motivated, just very like if I do something, I go hard for it, right? So I went to his office and I saw the operations, and it was very intriguing to me, very interesting. So I'm like, how can I be a part of this? And Sean did the same thing to me. We actually agreed at the time just to bring me on more like an intern, right? Because all the other office people were kind of like,
So,
okay, yeah, she's just here because, right? So for us, like I actually interned with no pay for about, I think we agreed to 60 days. He felt bad after like 30. So so that's kind of how it went. And I started at the bottom. I did sales, B2B, and basically just really excelled with that. I learned the operations because when you're in sales, you have to learn the product. Right. So I learned our systems, our processes, our scripts, just how everything, all the intricacies of it worked. So from doing that, I was able to then kind of transfer to the side of going into the customer service side. And then eventually I ended up taking over Sean's position, kicking him out as the CEO. And I'm now the CEO of the company that he founded. But, I've been doing it for 18 years. So it wasn't overnight, definitely put in a lot of hard work. But the spark was your question. Being able to just kind of see the operation in person in the office and just being like, this is really cool. Like, I want to be a part of this.
Oh, I love that. And like you said, I kind of had an in too. So no worries. No one's judging anyone
Yeah,
here.
but with you, Tiana, though, let's be honest, you did not want this to be your future. You did not
Oh,
see this
she
as
didn't
your
either. She
future,
would tell me
right?
the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's not me. Oh,
What
No,
I'm
would you
never
say to
Jesse,
your
it was
doing
mom?
that.
What would you say
people like
specifically?
you.
Oh my gosh, I told her that I would never. Like, I told her that wasn't me. There was
'Cause I
no way
pushed
that
it.
I
I
could
thought it
do
was a
the
good
things that she
career.
did. You know, I was, yeah.
100%. Yeah, we were the same way. We would, try to tell
Yeah.
her and her sibling at the time. Well, they're still siblings. I meant like when they lived home with us, right? Just like growing up
Yeah.
together. Like, hey, this is an amazing opportunity. You can
No
make as
student
much money
loan.
as you can earn. Exactly. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to go to college. Hey, you
Yep.
want to go to college? You want to be a lawyer?
Totally.
You want to be a doctor? You want
Yeah.
to be whatever
Yep.
you
The
need
important stuff.
to get
Yep.
that degree and do what you want to do in that field? Absolutely, but no need here.
Oh.
You can we already have an in, we could get you, but nope, she didn't want any of it. So sometimes kids
Oh,
have to
that's
go
so
out there
familiar. How
and do
funny.
for themselves and learn on their own. So same thing when Tianna called us and said, I'm putting the spatula down and I'm ready to enter the automotive industry.
And
My
they both did
husband and I were like,
GMC.
woo, yeah, yeah,
They both did
exactly.
GMC cars too, didn't you both?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, so we were ecstatic. Those were like some of the best words we ever heard.
That's awesome.
So now that we've talked about the beginning, right? I want to more talk about that, right? Like for Tiffany and for you, mom, Karen,
Mhm.
what's the biggest differences, right? Like when you started in the industry versus what you see now. So like you were saying, Tiffany, you're like, well, there was only 3 salespeople here. I was, the only girl. So I used to say the same thing because I would be like, hey, just ask for the girl salesperson. They're like, well, what's your name? I'm like, you won't have, they're not going to be confused. They're going to know
Yeah.
who right now, but there's so many, now you can't say that, right? Which is fortunate, right? I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So tell
Yeah.
us what you've seen then versus now.
Basically, I mean, I see a little bit more of some processes now, and of course, social media, internet. I mean, when I started, like I told Sean in the past, we had logbooks, and you were lucky if you got the salesman to actually write down their customers. So managers always didn't have the correct follow up because salespeople wouldn't even write their customer down.
Mm.
They had papers stuffed in their desk. Everything was handwritten. Everything took so much longer. And even though the processes have got quicker, people have also gotten more impatient over time as well. So it's like, even though it does go faster than it did back in the day, people still want things quicker because they're used to quickness. So I think getting the process down and making it quick is a huge thing to make people happy. But
That is so true. No, that is so true that you said the quickness, because I remember when the first like iPhone came out, and I think I was like maybe like 13 or 14, and my cousin was like, look, I can watch videos on here. And it took like 10 minutes to load the video, but when it loaded, I was like, oh my God, we can watch. Now
Best thing
I'm like
ever.
sitting there. Yeah, now I'm sitting there like, if it's buffering, I'm like, hurry up. What are you doing? I want this
Exactly.
1080p.
The
Hurry up.
expectations, yeah.
Yeah, and it's helping the world as well in our field. Like just recently, I came across the whole being able to send my text later through my phone. So now I sit at night and go through all my customer base, and I set up text for the next day to be shot out. And that's a new thing I just started recently, so we'll see what comes from it. But I think the newer technology can also help us all be a little bit more successful if we just learn to use it the right way.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say the
absolutely.
same thing. Technology for sure. CRM, video. How big videos become. Now we have AI.
Yeah.
Just the difference from then to now. And then I would say also from like a woman's perspective, I feel like there's a lot more women in leadership roles today than there were back when I first got started.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
No, I absolutely love that. So let's talk about more deep things. Last takeaway, really want to kind of hone in, right, is no matter the generation, right? Me and Liana, we're here, right? And we're here in the new generation, right? Gen Z, Gen Alpha is going to be eventually like joining us. Like that is crazy. And, Karen and Tiffany, you've kind of seen the beginning to now. So I absolutely love that. So no matter the generation, right? The passion for the industry is honestly contagious, right? And nobody's denying that. So when you do have a role model at home, especially like we do, I think it just drives us to want to be better and really see this as a career in automotive. So as we have been talking talking for quite a little bit now, I want to move on to how mentorship is powerful. And obviously, when your mentor is your mom, the stakes feel a little different, right? I mean, that's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, I'm making this person so proud, but you could also not make this person so proud, right? And at the end of the day, if they're just a manager, you can go home and you don't have to see them. But for us, it's our mothers. So definitely it's a little different. Liana, I want to ask you, what is one lesson that your mom gave you? Like a one important piece of advice that has really helped you in sales, whether that be mindset or, selling itself, selling the vehicles. What is one thing that, Tiffany, your mom gave you that you're like, I'll use that. Yeah.
My mom instilled mindset from a very young age. She, especially when I got into sales, her biggest thing for me was to just focus on myself, focus on my customers and building those relationships. And, at the end of the day, my own money to tune everyone else out, all the other salesmen, because at that dealership that I started at, I was the only woman, and so I just had to push on, and she really helped with that.
Oh, I'm sure, especially like you said, when it comes to the other guys, because you could literally feel like you're so isolated in sales. And on top of it, you're like literally the only gender in your whole sector. And so it's like a whole other layer of nervousness, anxiety. I completely get that. I want to say one piece of advice that, my mom here has given me is kind of the same thing as your mom Tiffany said, right? Is more like be yourself, and that's a whole mindset of it its own, right? Be yourself, whether you are a male or a female or whatever, right? Just be yourself, because at the end of the day, like sales is, I mean, we don't like to admit it, but it is a people business, right? We're working and talking to people more than we're working and talking to cars. So we have to be ourselves, and we're going to be able to connect with those that really resonate with that. So my mom really taught me that lesson, and I absolutely love that. But hello, guys, we're still in the industry, right? I mean,
Yeah.
give us something else. So Karen, go. What is something that you want to give, a piece to both me and Liana, right?
I guess like words are easy to say, right? But I think actions speak louder. So I would think and I would hope that you guys were able to pick up a lot of good habits, not just from what we tell you, but actually from what we've done and what we've shown you in our positions. So, definitely I'm a big person about actions speak louder than words. I'm actually a pretty quiet person. So I'm more of like a doer. So, just understanding, like Tiffany, like for us to understand that our actions, whether we realize it or not, influence those around us and especially our children. So making sure that we always have that hat on of like knowing that they're watching, they're listening, they're picking up on what we're doing. Just making sure that I'm extra careful about that and still being a role model to you, even though you're 26 years old, right? You can still be influenced. And I try to make sure that I do a good job with that.
Oh, and you do.
Thank you.
And Tiffany, give us some advice. Give us some nuggets.
I'm big on trust and honesty. I think customers buy and stuff, and people purchase and like people that they know they can trust and like. Building that relationship and not just forgetting about a person after you have had contact with them or a sale with them. Just this past week, I don't even take customers. It's really just people just texting my phone, which I love. I'll just be sitting there on my day off and I'll get 3 appointments, but it's not me doing anything. It's people reaching out to me with people they know or referrals. So I'm big on, it's hard right now in your 20s. She's 25 and, it's hard right now. But if you work hard right now and I've learned this and do everything right, it's only going to make it so much easier. I love being able to work 4 days a week. I love being able to be number one at my dealership and beat every guy there, being the only woman as well. Woo! And still working 4 days a week. I love that I took a week vacation last month and still won salesperson of the month. I love all those things.
Yes. Woo!
And I think
I'm loving
everyone
this.
should just know that, the advice is things are hard and things will be hard. But if you work hard now and try to just, like she said, get rid of that noise and focus on trying to stay motivated, you can really make a success for yourself.
That's a really great point about it's like building a book of business, right? And a referral system. And people, the key word that you said was trust.
Yeah, and it can
The
go
amount
further
of,
than this. I mean,
Mhm.
we all, like you guys, I mean, you're not in the, GMC world anymore, but I'm sure you're still building those people. It's just building relationships. The more people you know, the more I think all of us will be more successful. It's just about building that. Some people sit back and they just are fine with that, and that's good, but some of us want more.
Right. It's like casting like a wide net because
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a trustworthy salesperson or
Yeah,
whatever position at the dealership, you might sell one
yeah,
person one time, but they're not going to refer you,
no, and
right?
what's
So
the
you're
point?
not going to grow and expand your reach. It's just going to
Yes,
be one sale
Hmm.
at a time, and every single month you're going to be at the first of the month back to the grind, doing
yeah.
it all over again.
And then people get upset and wonder why they're not being successful. But it's like you need to look in the mirror and see why.
Right. Yeah, it's about creating that win-win with the customer. Yeah, having that trust factor
Yeah.
for sure. Agree.
Yes. And the next question, I mean, Tiffany, you kind of like answered already for Leanna here. I was going to say, when did you realize, wow, my mom's really good at this? And she was like, well, I'm the top salesperson. I took a vacation off. Like,
Well, she
but
was a
when did
kid. She
you?
was like she was going on the vacations.
Oh, you were benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when did you realize, like, wait, my mom is really good at this?
There was a number of times. I mean, her career is next to none, in my opinion. Just the amount of opportunities she's had, not only in the office, but outside of the office. But one of the main ones was I was probably about 12 years old, and she was on the cover of Auto Dealer Monthly. And that was just so crazy to me to see my mom on the front of a magazine.
That is
Aw.
amazing. And, I'm going to get a copy of that and I was going to say, Griffin, post it here in the video. Find us a picture, please.
Yes.
That is amazing. I absolutely love that. And it's kind of like those moments of, wait, if I see it, I can be it, right?
Yeah.
And so many times I go to these conferences and let me think. Yeah, NADA. They had like the dealer magazines all up there. And the first year I went, and I saw the magazines, I was like, there's so many guys on here. Like, I'm just trying to find
Yeah.
one girl. Like, my gosh. And now, it is coming more and more prominent, but you were making those waves decade, right? Years. I mean, before, now, right? Today's day and age. And so I think that's absolutely amazing. I will answer this question for my own mother. I realized she was really good at this when I realized that she could kind of do everything and stay like super calm, cool, and collected. Because I've met people where you give them like one job and they're like, I don't know how to do this. What am I going to do? But you give her, all these things. I mean, like Franklin Covey training, time maximization expert, like nutritionist, certified, like all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, same thing. Like if I see it, I can be it. And I'm like, okay, well, if I see this amazing woman who's close to me, she can do all these different things and be amazing and be calm, cool, and collected, I might have a chance at that, right? Because I did come from
Aw.
her. So I was like, I might have a chance at that.
Thank you, honey.
Absolutely. So I think that's definitely when I realized you're amazing at this. So when family is involved, as we know, girls, right, this mentorship isn't just professional. So I want to ask one last question because it is personal. How do you give feedback without letting mom mode take over?
I can go first. I think first of all, as a leader, you have to do this with all of your team members, right? You have to manage them as they are, not as you are, right? You have to kind of figure out what their style is, how they perceive feedback. If they tend to be more sensitive, you might have to deliver the message in a different format versus someone that's very straightforward, has thick skin. You can deliver it in a different format. But I think it's important to keep things professional in the workplace in that environment. But I also think it's okay to, I mean, we as a company are like a family, right? So we're like a family, and then we are literal family. So, I think it's okay to maybe joke about something. But for the most part, I do think having the boundary of keeping things professional. And then when I see her, we go on walks together sometimes, or, we have 3 pugs that come to the office sometimes. So we'll take them for a walk, and maybe we'll have a discussion at that time. So I think it's appropriate to have certain discussions in front of team members. And then I think there's also discussions that maybe are appropriate more for like a walk or just like a private conversation. So definitely being able to have that separation, because I do know that there are people out there that work together. There's a lot of families that work together at dealerships, and sometimes they allow the family drama to spill into the professional environment. And I think that can definitely wreak havoc on culture. So that's what I would say.
Oh, 100%. And as you said, Mom, right? I mean, not only are we family, right? I mean, we both work also with our spouses. So it's like
Great point.
24/7. But I'm 100% the same way, right? I mean, you'll see somebody and you'll know like, oh, they're together. They're holding hands. They're like, you can't get them off of each other. But you come into the office and I'll be like, hey, V, can you do this? Can you do that? And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's my wife. They'll be like, it is? Right? Because like, that's just how
Yeah,
like
you guys like
professional we are.
really don't even speak to each other unless it's about work during work. Yeah.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think that's same thing, like you said, Mom, same thing when it comes to like the mom mode. You're like, hold on, I need to speak to her like a mentor right now, not as a mom. And then if I'm like, do you want the real advice? Then I'll be like, yeah, I want the real advice. And then my mom will be like, okay, why did you do that? What happened to this? And I'll be like, good, it's what I needed. But Tiffany, I want to hear from you. How do you not let mom mode take over?
Our situation's a little different because we're all at different dealerships. So we like to, she'll call me or I'll call her if like she's having an issue or a bad day or a question, or even I'll call her and she'll call me for payoffs. I mean, it's funny. We just have that fun relationship. And if she's having an issue or she had a certain customer that was difficult or something, she'll share that with me at the end of the day driving home, after we get off work, and I'll try to help her on what she should do next, or, vice versa. So we're always helping each other with that. And my whole family right now is like, well, all my friends and family are pretty much all in the car business. So it's like, we talk about it probably too much, to be honest with you. But sometimes we
like family dinners are full of like work talk. Yeah.
The hardest part is just separating it because we all do it for a living, so.
Leanna, do you ever get tired of it, or are you just kind of like, you know what, this is cool that we have like our own automotive tribe here?
The automotive industry is so much a part of my life that it's just another day. Like, it's just another conversation.
And it probably helps that you grew up in that environment. So for you, it's almost like, same with Tianna, like you don't really know any different.
Yeah. Like the hours aren't a surprise, things of that nature. Like I thought about that. Like when I first started, there were so many surprises, but it's like, when you grow up in it, I think you're almost like, oh, well, I know that they're going to work every Saturday, or, I know they're going to miss this or that once in a while. And you kind of all understand it a little bit better than getting mad about it. Or
it's not a culture shock. Like,
correct.
Wait, what? Yeah, you guys work all these hours?
Yeah, I think that makes it work too for your family dynamic and ours too, because, we understand, hey, I have to cancel, unfortunately, or I can't go because I got to work, I got to fly out here.
Correct.
So 100%.
And I think it creates good habits too, because again, seeing that like, oh, my mom is working 12-hour days, or, that's definitely going to help you guys to kind of know that it does take hard work.
Correct.
But it pays off too.
Yeah, it gets easier.
Yes.
Speaking of getting easier, after we come back, we're going to talk about overcoming challenges together, especially as women in the automotive industry. So right after this short break.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business. We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Koons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
I love our ad breaks. I mean, I think they're the best, but I'm a little biased. But here we are, back to our segment, Overcoming Challenges Together. So we know the automotive industry isn't always easy, especially for women, right? I mean, who's it easier for? The customer, the salesman? It's easy for no one, right? Let's just right now talk about us women here in the industry. So Tiffany and Mom, Karen, both of you have faced, some challenges in breaking through this male-dominated space, and we heard a little bit how you pushed through those barriers, but can you go in more depth into any specific moments where you were like, oh, yeah, this is a male-dominated space, and how did you overcome those specifically?
See, I've been asked this before, and for me, it's a little bit tough because I'm not blind to it. I definitely noticed, especially, 18 years ago when I first came into the automotive industry, going to conferences and dealing with, consulting at the dealership, right? And kind of seeing how women were treated, or maybe there weren't too many women at a dealership when we would go to train, right? Or even during the sales process, sometimes I would feel that friction. Like it would almost be like, can we talk to Sean about this type thing, right? Like, can I speak to your your husband? Can I speak to the man? Um, but I will say that I was really blessed with having some really good men supporters, including Sean. Sean Bradley. I remember Scott Peckstein was very big, a very big mentor for me at the time. Like, just very like encouraging and like you can do this. Just like providing that support and almost making it's almost like paradigms, right? So we each possess our own set of lenses and how we see the world, and they were able to give me a pair of glasses where I don't think I quite saw it for what it really is or was at the time. I think I was a little bit ignorant to the fact of maybe what a male dominating field it was, because I was being pushed and supported by the men in my life. So I hope that makes sense.
It definitely does. I mean, and that's a fortunate thing. And I think a lot of people growing up now in the industry are fortunate enough to have more of your similar experience versus the opposite of that. Because
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Tiffany, but Liana, has there been any, and because we're more, in this generation, right, of selling, has there been any parts of your career where you felt like, wait, yeah, this is male dominated, hold on? Or has it been like, no, I mean, they treat me like a person, like this is normal?
I think when I first initially got into sales, the dealership that I was working for was definitely more male dominated and almost set back in the past. Like their methods of training salespeople and everything, it was very old school. But I ended up making a move to a dealer that is much more progressive, and I'm not the only saleswoman anymore. There's a couple of us.
Same thing. No, I was just going to say same thing. I mean, same thing happened to me. I started my career at a dealership and I was like, like I can't do this. They literally see me as like, you are a girl, and then like a human second, if that makes sense. Like a person second, but girl first.
Yeah.
And then I had to move to another dealership and they were like, same thing, like, hey, we have two other sales girls here, and you can all support each other and raise each other up. Versus the first dealership, it was kind of like they had their group and we were in ours, right?
Didn't you have an experience too where I don't know, someone was like, if someone was looking at trucks or something, they were like, yeah, can
Oh
I talk
yeah.
to a man about this?
They're like, if it's
Mhm.
a truck, I appreciate you like getting the keys, but I want a man to talk to me like about the
Mhm.
numbers and about really making the deal. And I'm like, okay. And I literally said, I was like, I'll get you a man. They're not going to give you the best deals I would give you, but that's fine. I'll call a man. And he was like, oh, well, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, I'm just saying, like, I am the top salesperson here. So yeah, so you just got to give it to them back. But yeah, exactly, mom, right? Yeah, things like that have happened. And then we had to, right, similar experience. We had to move to a dealership that understood, no, we're all humans, we're all people. We can just sell cars, right? We're people, we're the people business. There's no, we're not in the man business, woman
Yeah.
business, it's people.
One funny thing with that whole truck story with you at the dealership that just reminded me of something is I remember, just actually performing and becoming number one is what made me feel better about being the only woman, because then I gained a lot of respect that way. I would be outside on the lot. They would give me a parking spot up front, so they'd give me a sign every month that was salesperson month parking. So when I was done with them, I would hang them behind my desk using just like a little rubber thing and hooking it on the glass. And I had every single month for every year. So pretty much it was like I was at SpongeBob, and with all the awards behind me, basically. And if a man out on the lot they thought I was always, like Sean said, I look young. So they would always think I didn't know what I was talking about. And it was so fun to walk them inside and sit them at my desk and walk away. I'd do it every time. And then when I'd come back and I'd sit down, the total demeanor would change. They'd go, wow, you really do know what you're talking about, don't you? And it would make me feel so good. And I was like, haha. And that helped me. And it helped me be a better salesperson, because it took a lot of older men's guards down as soon as they would sit and see all the awards and all the signs and how hard I worked. They knew that I wasn't just some girl that, that didn't know what I was doing. And it felt really good.
I want to ask a question for everyone here now. So let's start with you, Liana. What is one moment in your career where you almost gave up? You were like, you know what? I got in this. I thought I wanted this, but I might just want to get out now. But your mom kind of encouraged you to keep going.
So going back to my first sales job, and kind of elaborating a little bit more on, it was very old school. I had a manager there who was retired military, and instead of using his voice to uplift his salespeople, he kind of had more of the orders, the barking of orders. And I learned a lot from him. I gained a lot of knowledge, and it was an amazing experience. But in those moments, especially as a first time salesperson, it was rough. And so I leaned on my mom a lot during that time to keep me going to get to the good part.
Oh, and do you remember what you would say, Tiffany?
I mean, I just remember, and I mean, honestly, just still sometimes for me, I get those moments where I feel like giving up, just because I'll get overwhelmed or feel like I can't handle it or something, and I have to tell myself to be strong. And I would usually just tell her that it does get easier. He might be having a bad day. It's probably more of him. Don't let his, how you're feeling from him, let it like influence your sales and things of that. You have to become yourself. We're pretty much independent contractors as commission-based salespeople, and we need to make this our own business. And there's going to be many people that we work with around the time of our lives that we're not going to mesh with. And you have to just learn how to make it just easier for yourself by not letting it affect you. And it's easier said than done, but it's all about, again, having someone to pick up the phone and call, or being able to watch a few videos that can motivate you for a few minutes to get you out of that mindset, or whatever you need to do to make yourself not fall into that is a very important lesson. And I think the most successful people in the world are the people that are able to block those things out.
Yes, it's kind of like what my mom taught me, right? Carrying your own weather. So it's kind of like you can have a rainy day, you wake up, you stub your toe, and you're like, everything today is horrible. I got stuck in traffic. But then you see me and I'm like, I'm walking on sunshine. Like, oh, because I carry my own weather, right? I mean, I didn't stub my toe. I wasn't in traffic. I got up early and I got here, right? And I think that's exactly what you were saying, Tiffany. And I think it really probably helped Liana more than you could ever imagine, because it helped me more than I can ever imagine, right? Because when you are overwhelmed and you feel like, oh, maybe I can't do this, and then on top of that, right, you have somebody like barking at you, you're like, I was already like on the edge, but now
I'm walking to my car.
Yeah.
I mean, I've left the dealership. I will tell you, I've left myself. I've gotten in the car, gotten that mad, or that like it's gotten intense. I've had intense arguments, unfortunately, with certain managers over the time, and because you work with multiple ones, it's not just one manager that you have to deal with. And there's been friction, and I've gotten in my car and I've gotten hundreds of phone calls in the 5 minutes, and I just needed that 5 minutes to cry or whatever the heck I had to do. But I brought myself back to the store, and then let me have a talk with you, and all the apologies started to happen. But I just wanted to be left alone and do my job and get it done and go home.
Yeah.
But it's happened a year ago. I mean, it doesn't go away. It's going to happen. So it's all about not giving up, to be honest, because I'm not going to let someone else ruin my career because I made a quick decision out of emotions.
Right. That's true. And I think it's also important to keep in mind like the mission, right? Like why you're doing what you're doing.
Correct.
The end in mind. So like, why am I doing this? What am I trying to achieve? What are the goals, right? Am I going to let this person derail me from my mission? No, I'm going to stay laser focused. I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to come up, to challenges or face challenges. There's going to be those moments and those situations. But if your why is stronger than the circumstances, then you just keep pushing through until you achieve whatever it is that you're going for.
And we all, and Sean and all of us, we built from the bottom, like we, I mean, it's like my parents were successful people, but they didn't hand me anything. I had to do everything myself. And, I had a child young. I had my daughter at age 20 years old. I mean, I didn't have it easy.
I was 17.
I had a why. I had no choice. I could either be a bum or I could try to work really hard and make my kids have a good future.
Yeah.
Right. Period.
You have two choices. You either do it or you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
What
And
is
you do it.
the alternative to quit?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
To just.
I don't want the
Push
alternative.
all that hard work to the side, everything that you've built just to, for.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's important too in automotive, right? Because especially you guys selling cars, right? I mean, you'll have like all these hours you're working and, bell to bells and, all this stuff. And you'll drive home, because I've been there and I feel like, am I doing anything that's like changing the world right now? Like what's going on? And then I realized like, wait, I'm saving up, I'm building a future for myself, right? So many people don't even have jobs right now or can't even get, employed, right? So here we are with amazing opportunity, especially the automotive industry, where you can make as much as you can earn, right? It's not like you're capped at anything. So, especially in the automotive industry, I know those like drive homes and drive to the dealership are hard because you're like, I can't do another day. Same thing with the office work, right? 9 to 5 all the time, every day, same thing, sitting down. But like we were talking about, it's that end goal, right? It's like, what am I really here for? Right. And I think that's really what kind of keeps all of us pushing.
Yeah. If you're really good at what you do and you make a lot of money and you want to go save the world with the money that you earn, then that is a means to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other, conversation that Sean and I had with someone who his father was a preacher, right? And he said, like, being happy in life doesn't mean being a multimillionaire, right? That's some people's happiness. Sometimes being happy to people is just working at Walmart and being able to pay your bills, and you can attend all of the family events that us automotive folks are missing out on, and we can have those family outgoings that we can't have. So we're sitting here like, hey, we have all this money, but on the other side, they're like, well, we're making memories and blah blah blah. So it is a double-edged sword, but
it's all based on what that person wants in life. But
right. What's
whatever
important
it
to
is,
you.
make it happen, because you can't just sit there and do nothing.
Right. Yes.
exactly. It's that legacy mindset. And it's not just about selling cars, right? This isn't just about selling cars. I mean, it's about building something that lasts. So, questions for both of us daughters to start off with. How do you plan on honoring, like, how do we plan, I guess, honoring what our moms have left for us by making our own mark? So I'm going to let you tackle that one first, Liana.
You know, for me, it's just, I've watched this amazing empire that my mom has built for herself, and it really motivates me to push myself to succeed, you know, and to focus on long-term customer relationships and ultimately make that the priority. Because if we can maintain long-term client relationships, I'm not going to just sell them one car. I'm going to sell them multiple cars, and then I'm going to sell their parents' cars and their future kids' cars.
Exactly. And I kind of have this similar, like, I feel like we're like one and the same. We're one and the same. I don't know if you know that song, but we are one and the same right now, right? I mean, I think just seeing everything that my mom has done just made me, as I said earlier, realize like, okay, I can do this. And, you know, I do have that support system, right? Because so many people, they can, you know, look up to any celebrity or any mentor, but they can't call them, or they can't go have dinner with them or hang out with them, right? I mean, we have the opportunity to have all, like, both of these amazing mentors in our lives, and we can call them up. We can go out on walks with them, right? We can go out to dinner with them. We can hang out with them. So same thing. I'm in that same boat. I think and I plan to honor what my mom has built by just continuing to do what she has done. And I think if we both do that, I think we're both going to have really successful careers.
Absolutely.
So for the moms, right, what does legacy actually mean to you, right, in the automotive industry? What do you want to leave behind for us?
So I think legacy is like almost like the passing of the torch, right? When I'm no longer here, I don't want that torch to necessarily just burn out. You know, being able to instill good values and systems and good habits to you. And hopefully our other kids someday end up joining the family business. But that's how it lives on, right? Because through my actions, hopefully I influence you, Tianna, and then hopefully through your actions, you can influence some others. And then that's how it grows, and that's how it does live on.
I agree 100%. Tiffany?
I think I just thought it was so awesome when Liana decided to actually go into the field, because like you said, your daughter was not really feeling it as well. So I was actually completely shocked when I got that phone call, and was like excited too, because it was like I could finally like have something other than what we've always connected upon grow into something even more. Because, you know, she would hear about my car sales, but there wasn't as much of a connection. She'd go, "Oh, great job, you know, salesperson a month again, cool."
Yeah.
But it's like now it's like, "Oh, how many cars you at?" And we have that like fun little competition a little bit sometimes, and I'll say, "This is how many I have. What do you got? Oh, get to work. You better go sell something." You know, so we try to push each other that way. And the legacy, I'm even hoping our 13-year-old son, you know, my son goes in, you know, actually decides to eventually do it too, because he can go to college again if he wants to be any of those other things. That's fine with me, but I'd like it also to also just get passed along too, because I just like to instill that whole sales and like working with customers and what you can make of yourself with just using your mouth talking versus having to do it the hard way. I have so many friends and family with student loans and things of that nature. And it's like, if you're going to go into a field that, you know you're going to keep accelerating with, and that's it, great. But don't just go to college to go to college. Please don't just say, "I'm going to go for business," because you don't know what business you want to do. I mean, you can learn business by watching some videos of people that have done it already and have just as good of knowledge and not have to pay anything. So I just think, you know, it's all up to the kids of what they do. I hope forever that I'm remembered somehow. Just trying to push that along to always keep swimming and never give up, and just always make sure that the customer is your friend. I think making them your friends, it's like having one big family as well. And those are the people that's why they trust you, and that's why they send you their friends and their customers and everyone in the future. And that's why my life has gotten easier as well.
Exactly. And I love everything that everyone has said, because I feel like there's a like a unison mindset of like, hey, you know what, no matter what, we got this, right? And I think that's just kind of like what, to me, like encapsulates what a woman is, right? A woman is dealing with a lot of hard things and they still got this, right? We could be having a mental and physical war and we walk into the office or dealership and we're like, how can I help you? Right? Because if there's anything out of place, right, we're going to be scrutinized 10 times harder than anybody else. So I think with that has definitely led us to build those legacy mindsets. While we close out here today, I just want to remind everyone, right, and exactly what, Tiffany, Mom, you too, Karen has said, a true legacy is more than just the numbers, right? And it means a lot to us. I mean, I'm speaking on Liana's behalf right now, but it means a lot to us that you've shared your values and, examples that are going to set forth a better next generation. So is there any last words of wisdom that you want to give us daughters?
Just never give up, to be honest with you. I mean, I just feel that you're always going to run into hardships. That's the thing. There's going to be a lot of good in your life, and we've learned that, but we're also going to go through really hard times too. And it's picking yourself back up and keeping yourself, going forward, so that way you can be successful and make your life easier. So when you are older, you can enjoy it versus, not being able to. So it's all about just trying to keep going and just being happy. And, and if you're not happy, figure out a way to get happy, because life's too short not to be happy. And if anyone doesn't want you to be happy, screw them. That's my advice.
Definitely. No, I agree with everything Tiffany said. So I echo that. And also, have discipline, right? I think discipline is it's like the key to everything. Being able to, or like knowing and understanding that sometimes we don't necessarily want to do things, but we need to do those things. Right. Mm-hmm. And by differentiating that, you can achieve a lot in life. So continue to build your discipline muscles and just really, go for what you want. Life is short. We're only here for, on average 76 summers. Right. So definitely make the most of them and try to find that balance between getting what you want, being happy, and, whatever that means to you.
100%. I love this, guys. And like I said, I don't want it to end, but here we are, sad face. So in closing, I just wanted to reiterate some of the key takeaways that we learned here today. We found, success in automotive is amplified when you have a mentor, right? Whether that be your mom or not, right? You have a mentor. They can, share values with you. You can trust each other. It's definitely needed in this industry. Also, combining different generational strengths, right? I mean, hearing from Liana's boot camp manager all the way to the maybe more progressive manager, and I literally had the same exact one. I think that is a generational thing, right? But it doesn't stop anybody, right? It doesn't stop us. I mean, you guys have been doing this for years beyond we have, and you're still here doing it, and it's absolutely amazing. And legacy isn't just passed down, right? It's built together. And I think that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So all of you listeners, I want you to think about your life and how you could benefit from a mentorship. If you don't have a mentor right now, especially if you're a woman listening, hey, reach out to us. We're right here, right? There's 4 amazing, incredible women right here that you can talk to, connect with, and build with, because I'm sure we all wish we had us, right, when we were in this industry. So we're here. So whether it's family or a colleague, start building that legacy today. And last but very not least, make sure you guys check out our podcast, which you're on now. Our other episodes are in season 11. Oh my goodness. So check out our past episodes. Go check out the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. We have over 30,000 members. That's awesome. And last but not least, make sure you guys check out Bradley On Demand. We have some amazing training on there. We also have training from Chrissy Burton, who is the #1 car saleswoman in the world. Okay. Like, she is awesome. So definitely learn from her. But if anything else, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Everybody say bye to the Millionaire Car Salesman crew, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're gonna love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably, so sign up now.